It's very simple. If you look at the planet, 1.2 billion people suffer from malnutrition. And when you look a little bit closer, about 2/3 of those malnourished people are poor farmers. And when you look a little bit closer, those poor farmers have basically their hands or animals' energy to produce. So they are very dependent from their ecosystem. When the forest is destroyed in Africa, for example, the fertility goes out. When the mangrove is destroyed, there is no more fish. And the salt water comes into the rice fields. So there is a direct link between carbon, because those ecosystems can store a lot of carbon, and also the poverty and the malnutrition. On the other hand, there is a developed world with a lot of emission, large corporations, individuals, and they have to reduce their emissions. So on the one hand, we can store carbon, bringing better nutrition, reducing poverty, and on the other hand, we can reduce the carbon emission of the developed world. Because Danone is a food company, and we are very much exposed to two things. One is better nutrition. The mission of Danone is bring health through food to as many people as possible. But when you do that, you are very close to the soil. We are very close to the plants. In fact, we are processing the goods from the soil. No, first, they bring money that is invested upfront in the project. This is very important. We work with very poor communities in India, in Indonesia, in Africa. If you don't bring the money upfront, they cannot implement large-scale projects. But we can bring much more. Companies have, for example, very important competencies on access to market. And what is important for small farmers, from a small cooperative, is how to have access to markets. Can be local market, national market, or export. But whatever the market is, how can I have access to the market? How can I organize my cooperative to really be efficient on the market? This is an area, there are many other examples where companies can bring a lot. Biodiversity is part of the future of the planet. Companies are concerned, they are more or less conscious about biodiversity. Their level of sensitivity to the issue can be different. What I can say is the company that have joined Livelihoods have this sensitivity to the issue. It's not only biodiversity, it's water resources. I was talking about soil fertility. It's all linked. When you have organic content, meaning carbon in the soil, you have water retention and you have also biodiversity. The major biodiversity is in the soil, and you have also fertility. So it's not biodiversity, malnutrition, water, carbon, no, it's all together in fact. So companies, if they want to develop in the future, and if as a human being we want to survive, we need to take into account this whole cycle of life, which is carbon. Carbon is not just emission, it's also the real cycle of life. Carbon is in the plants, in the trees. So I think companies, step by step, more or less, depending on the type of activity, the area where they operate, are really starting to understand how strategic it can be in the future. Today I am in a conference, but this is not really what we do every day. What we do is working with the best grassroots organization, local entrepreneurs, to help them scale up. In Senegal, they had planted 6 million mangrove trees in 4 years with very little money. When we started with them, with the carbon, we were able to accelerate. In 1 year, they planted 30 million, 30. The year after, 60 million. So it is possible when you select the right organization, when you provide to them the right technical expertise plus the financial resources, that they accelerate. And then we work with them on monitoring the process, but it is their project. It is never our project. It is the local project. The project works because it is owned by the local community, by the local farmers. It is their project. As we have done in other ventures, what we dream is that we will initiate a movement, and other companies and other NGOs and the public sector will engage, will embark in this venture. Beside the fund, we have created an association called Livelihoods Network. Why? Because in fact for us it's not just a fund. It's an alliance between large companies, grassroots organizations like what News in Sundermans is doing, small organizations doing amazing projects, large institutions, all together co-creating solutions. It's not the business itself, it's not the NGO itself, it's not the public sector itself alone that will find a solution. It's the combination. So the Livelihood Network, beside the financial fund, financial engine, the Livelihoods Fund, is working on know-how transfer, solution, acceleration of innovation.